Good afternoon, everybody, from the third largest city in the United States of America, Chicago, Illinois. It's the Drive with Mario Smith. I am him. Welcome to the show, everybody. Thank you all so much for being here today. We are, as I said, live, and yeah, what's going on in the world? We have a lot to talk about today. We're also going to talk about a guest that we'll have on tomorrow as well to talk about the Roe v. Wade situation, if you will. Needless to say, I think in the last few hours between last night and this morning is the most that Gliss and I have ever talked. And let me bring him in, Jonathan Glissmeyer from Portland, Oregon. I just told your whole government name, bro. Sorry about that.
No, I don't care. That's fine.
How are you today, sir?
I mean,
Yeah.
It's as you said, we kind of were texting last night, and there's, I think, few times that something political happens that really kind of knocks you off your feet. Whether you feel one way or the other.
Right.
There's not a lot of moments I think that warrant that kind of response, but that news that came out last night was definitely one of those moments for me.
So I was listening to baseball, listening to the Mets game. I'm like trying to keep up, you know what I mean? Who's good, who's bad, and I'm on my phone listening to the game. And then the breaking news thing comes across on the New York Times. And I looked at it and I dropped my phone. I just dropped my phone and I started thinking about all the women I know.
Yeah.
Regardless of their age. I just started thinking about all the women that I know. And how I immediately said after that, which I guess wouldn't make it immediate, but I said after that, I said, women are the most unprotected people in this country. It's not children, it's not old people, it's not men, certainly. It's women. And I just started thinking, how in the hell am I supposed to protect my woman? How am I supposed to protect my nieces and my cousins and my aunts and my sisters and my friends who are women? How am I supposed to protect them when it's going to be the Wild West if this actually does go through? And it's very telling that on days like today, the people who aren't talking, the people who aren't saying anything, that's kind of how I gauge after these things happen. So when I texted you last night, I was in a rage. I think we both kind of were in a rage. And I just immediately tried to put some sense in it for me as to how to articulate it today. That's the earliest I've ever thought about any radio show I've ever done. I thought about that bad boy at 9:00 at night last night, Central. Just like, what am I going to do? What are we going to say? Who do we get to talk? And I'm like everybody else, I guess, that feels like this is very telling. How this country right now, as it is constructed, how it really feels about women.
Yeah.
And I was and in talking with Hal a few moments ago, that George Carlin bit is the truth. Conservatives care about you when you're not born. The second that you're born, you're off the list. They don't care about you anymore. So, we will figure it out. Tomorrow, we're going to have Eileen Dordick on. Eileen is here in Illinois. She is the head of an talking like I'm talking to my friends on the phone. She's the head of an organization called Personal Pack. They have been staunch fighters here in Illinois for over 30 years in preparation for a day like today. Or the event to come, that is. And we'll have her on tomorrow to talk about all that that Roe v. Wade entails and what that means. And real quick, Gliss, I was having a conversation with a very special person in my life early this morning. And I said to her, I would hate to be a 20-year-old person right now in this country, especially if I was trying to get married and especially if my wife and I were trying to have children. I'd be scared to death to live here. I, at 54 years old, am thinking maybe it might be time to figure out what living in Canada might be like, or living in Africa, what that might be like, or living in London, what that might be like. This is getting very dark, and
Yeah.
it's very, very weird right now where we are. And I don't think that we have scratched the surface of it yet. We'll talk more about this for sure in this first hour of the show. Um, but yeah, man, I'm glad that you were around, bro, because I needed one more person to be as angry as me yesterday, and you were it. So I was
Oh,
very happy.
I was, yeah, I was in it, and kind of what you're talking about as well. Just really quick, the fact that, and we talk about it all the time on this show. Anyone who doubts, the effects of electing someone like Donald Trump as the president, and some of the after effects of that, not only from the kind of cult like following that he was able to develop and has been able to keep in terms of people who have a certain mentality and who kind of follow his political views, but also just being able to stack up the court and some of these other issues. And also, to your point about a young person, I mean, I think you're talking about just the effects of the last 24 hours, right. And we talk about it on the show all the time, just some of the other things with climate and all these other issues out there. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting time.
If you were to tell me 30 years ago that in the year 2022, Roe v. Wade, voting rights, and the planet dying would all be on the table at the same time, I would have laughed in your face, because there would have been no way that I could have saw that coming. Did not see any of that coming. Still don't have flying cars. Still don't have a base salary for every human. Still don't have. And yet here we are. So we will make sense of it is a bad phrase, but we will try to figure out everything today. Not try to figure out everything, but we'll try to get these thoughts out and get them into your atmosphere today. You're here with us on Backchannel, by the way. As if you didn't know, it's the only place on your Echo device where you can watch and listen to the live shows, and chat with the hosts in real time. This, by the way, is The Drive. I'm Mario Smith here at Studio A. And we're on every Monday through Wednesday and Friday, starting at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you're wondering how you can get involved with the show, today is that day to get involved with us and to talk with us. You just send us a chat. It's really easy. You can ask questions, chime in on what we're talking about, or anything else you want to send our way. If you can see me right now and you're watching on an Echo Show device or Fire TV, the magic word to say is what rhymes with Hachexa. And then say hello and come on in and join us and get involved in the conversation. If you're listening to us on an Echo speaker, thank you so much. Really appreciate you. Go to backchannel.tv, backchannel.tv, and get in the chat that way. And also subscribe, so you can know what's going on and you can know when we're doing it. Shout out to everybody at Backchannel. Haley Analysis, good morning, begins at 6 a.m. Eastern Time, followed by Live Every Day with the great Liv Harrison, except for Tuesdays and Thursdays when it's Kate and Will. And then that's at 9 Eastern Time. Get on up with Jam and Renee at 10 Eastern. And then the Anthony Davis Show at noon Eastern Time, except for tomorrow, when you will see the Word of the Day quiz at noon. And at 2, your pal Hal, you saw him today, special guest Batman, and Hal's mom was on today too. It was pretty cool. She's the best. That was awesome. And producer Travis as well. And then it's us at 2. So we're glad that you guys are here today. I cannot stress enough how this show is going to be rather serious for a few today. We'll yuck it up and have fun and all that. I will promise you that. But this news from last night involving Roe v. Wade is heartbreaking, and my heart is broken, and I'm not lying. I feel very horrible. So we're going to try to talk it out together, and then tomorrow Eileen Dordick will be our guest, and we'll have a chance to really expand that thought. How you doing, secretive alpaca? Cody, you won yesterday. Congratulations, my man. Heartbreaking Snail, Zhao, Linda. Hi to Heartbreaking Snail. How you doing? Godly Bedbug, Spooky Beaver. Oh, Paper in California and Amanda in New Mexico. Thank you guys for being on the show today. Let's take a look at the headlines at the top of the hour. President Joe Biden today blasted a radical Supreme Court draft opinion that would throw out the landmark Roe v. Wade abortion rights ruling that has stood for half a century. He warned that other privacy rights, including same-sex marriage and birth control, are at risk if the justices follow through on the draft that the court emphasized was not final. Across the nation, Americans grappled with what might come next. The Democratic-controlled Congress and White House both vowed to try to blunt the impact of such a ruling, but their prospects looked dim. The court confirmed the authenticity of the leaked draft, which was dated to February, and Chief Justice John Roberts said he had ordered an investigation into what he called an egregious breach of trust. Opinions often change in ways big and small in the drafting process, and a final ruling has not been expected until the end of the court's term in late June or early July. A decision to overrule Roe would have sweeping ramifications, leading to abortion bans in roughly half the states, sparking new efforts in Democratic-leaning states to protect access to abortion, and potentially reshaping the contours of this year's hotly contested midterm elections. And finally, the body found inside a barrel in the newly exposed bottom of Lake Mead after the lake's level was depleted amid drought is that of a man who was shot, police said Tuesday in Las Vegas. The killing probably happened between the mid-1970s and the early 1980s because the victim was wearing shoes that were manufactured during that period, said Homicide Lieutenant Ray Spencer, the Las Vegas Review-Journal reported. The barrel was found Sunday in the Lake Mead National Recreational Area by boaters who informed authorities. Drought has dropped the water level of Lake Mead on the Colorado River in southern Nevada and northern Arizona so much that Las Vegas's uppermost water intake became visible last week. And those are the headlines at the top of the hour. When we come back, we'll expand the conversation around Roe v. Wade. It's a thing. Hey, Trinity, welcome to the show. Tell everybody you know it's The Drive with Mario Smith here on Backchannel.tv. We'll be right back after these words. It's The Drive with Mario Smith here on Backchannel.tv. You're also watching on YouTube and checking us out on your Amazon-supported devices. And we great appearance today. Hello to all the passengers that are watching us on The Drive. And if you're listening to us on your Echo speaker as a radio dude, I appreciate that. I can't even begin to articulate how much I dig the fact that you're listening to the show. But if you get a chance, check us out. It's not bad. I have on good clothes. Kind of. Moving Porcupine, welcome to the show. Trinity's in Louisiana, by the way. Hello. Shout out to everyone in Louisiana. Please consider subscribing, guys. Since you're here, go to backchannel.tv and become a subscriber to the show. All the no-name folks, you can always go back and put in your name. And where you're from, too, so we can know who we're talking to. So as you know, and I hate when people go, I'm tired of talking about it. Well, this might not be your day because we're talking about it. Politico last night by the hand of someone involved, a clerk perhaps, maybe one of the justices, it's been said, uh, leaked the draft opinion of the decision regarding Roe v. Wade. Roe versus Wade, also the Planned Parenthood, the 1992 decision of Planned Parenthood versus Casey that maintained the right to an abortion and the guaranteed federal constitutional protections of an abortion is what Planned Parenthood versus Casey guaranteed. Roe v. Wade guaranteed a federally constitutional protection of abortion rights. And that happened in 1973, Roe v. Wade. So the country, clearly, there are two sides to this story. Everybody, or two opinions. Everybody is speaking. I mentioned earlier, it's telling the people who aren't speaking. Those are some of the same people who tried to destroy the Capitol building on the 6th of January. Just saying. Politico, let me go back. Chief Justice Roberts, this morning on Twitter, I will read to you exactly what he said because it's rich to me. And we will go back and forth with it, I'm sure. But he said, and I guess there's a part of me that's like, yeah, he's right. And then there's another part of me that's like, eh. So the SCOTUS blog, said it's impossible to overstate the earthquake this will cause inside the court in terms of the destruction of trust among the justices and staff. This leak is the gravest, most unforgivable sin. Okay. Perhaps. Chief Justice Roberts said the leak of the draft opinion that would overturn Roe v. Wade called it an egregious breach of trust, and he ordered an investigation today. We'll talk about that in a moment. And my reply to those two things are, okay, it's more egregious than a sitting justice's wife collaborating with people who are participating in the January 6, 2021 event that happened at the Capitol building, where a Confederate flag was waving frantically for the first time since the Civil War. That was cool. But this is worse than that. This is horrible. And it's worse than that? Okay, I don't know about that. A coup on the American government? That's pretty bad. Not badass either. Pretty bad. Here's a political story. The Supreme Court, and this is from Josh Gerstein and Alexander Ward. The Supreme Court has voted to strike down the landmark Roe v. Wade decision, according to an initial draft majority opinion written by Justice Samuel Alito, circulated inside the court and obtained by Politico. The draft opinion is a full-throated, unflinching repudiation of the 1973 decision, which guaranteed federal constitutional protections of abortion rights, and a subsequent 1992 decision, Planned Parenthood versus Casey, that largely maintained the right. To quote Justice Alito, Roe was egregiously wrong from the start. We hold that Roe and Casey must be overruled, he writes in the document labeled as the opinion of the court. He says, it is time to heed the Constitution and return the issue of abortion to the people's elected representatives. Deliberations on controversial cases have in the past been fluid. Justices can sometimes change their votes as draft opinions circulate, and major decisions can be subject to multiple drafts and vote trading, sometimes until just days before a decision is unveiled. The court's holding will not be final until it is published, likely in the next 2 months. So in the next 2 months, you still technically have Roe v. Wade. The court kind of has a decision to make that now that the cat is out of the bag, and they don't deny that it's out of the bag. Is it to the advantage of the court to make the decision now? Do they still wait until we get to June, July Or do they wait even longer to make sure that the midterms take place first? Because in my opinion, I think this has an adverse effect on the midterm elections. I think people are upset enough that this can change the course of what was going to happen into something completely different. Your Senate could look very Democratic because this decision was very conservative. The immediate, and this is from the article, the immediate impact of the ruling as drafted in February would be to end a half-century guarantee of federal constitutional protection of abortion rights and allow each state to decide whether to restrict or ban abortion. It's unclear if there have been subsequent changes to the draft. This now explains, to me anyway, why your southern states have been scrambling to change their abortion laws to no abortion. From the article, no draft decision in the modern history of the court has been disclosed publicly while a case was still pending. The unprecedented revelation is bound to intensify the debate over what was already the most controversial case on the docket this term. The draft opinion offers an extraordinary window into the justices' deliberations in one of the most consequential cases before the court in the last 5 decades. Some court watchers predicted that the conservative majority would slice away at abortion rights without flatly overturning a 49-year-old precedent. The draft shows that the court is looking to reject Roe's logic and legal protections. A person familiar with the court's deliberations said that 4 of the other Republican-appointed justices, Clarence Thomas, Neil Gorsuch, Brett Kavanaugh, who said he wouldn't change it, and Amy Coney Barrett, who also said she wouldn't change it, and I think Neil Gorsuch also said he wouldn't change it, had voted with Alito in the conference held among the justices after hearing oral arguments in December, and that lineup remains unchanged as of this week. The 3 Democratic-appointed justices, Stephen Breyer, Sonia Sotomayor, and Elena Kagan, are working on one or more dissents, according to the person. How Chief Justice John Roberts will ultimately vote and whether he will join an already written opinion or draft his own is unclear. The document, labeled as a first draft of the majority opinion, includes a notation that it was circulated among the justices on February the 10th. If the Alito draft is adopted, it would rule in favor of Mississippi in the closed watched case over that state's attempt to ban most abortions after 15 weeks of pregnancy. Roberts confirmed the authenticity of the draft opinion and said he was ordering an investigation into the disclosure. To the extent this betrayal of the competences of the court was intended to undermine the integrity of our operations, it will not succeed. The work of the court will not be affected in any way, said Roberts in a written statement. This was a singular and egregious breach of that trust that is an affront to the court and the community of public servants who work here. True as that may be, aren't you glad you know? It seems to me that that's the way to go. I need to know that. I think about my goddaughter. My goddaughter is 22 years old, 3 years old. And I know her and her boyfriend have kids eventually. And I know they want to get married as well. And all I can think of is, should something happen? Luckily, well, no, not luckily, because she's in Indiana. If something should happen to her, and it comes to the decision for her health about abortion, and let's say Indiana says no abortion, what is she going to? She's got to come to Illinois, right? Because luckily, Illinois has protections in place. But what if we didn't? Where would she go? I imagine before 1973, because I was a very little person, that it was all man or every man for themselves when it came to abortion. They weren't legal. They were not safe at all. And here we are. This is it. Even if they wait until after the midterms, even if they don't, this is it. This is where we are as a country. The decision that a woman's body cannot be legally protected federally if she wanted to have an abortion is shocking. It is yet another example of how we don't take care of our own in this country. It's another example of how hard it must be, no matter which side of this opinion you're on, to know that the Supreme Court's decision is based on we just want to change it. There's no logic in wanting to change this law. Not now. When in every instance of the last 4 Supreme Court justices who have to be confirmed by the Senate, when asked about Roe v. Wade, they all say the same thing. That's pretty much protected and cemented. And it doesn't look like we'll be able to ever change it. And there's no reason to change it. And blah, 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 blah. But now, all of a sudden in February, there was a lot of reasons to change it because the conservative nature of the Supreme Court right now is in favor of turning that over, birth control, voting rights, and everything else. Nothing is off the table now. It's all on the table. And I can go back further and say with great confidence, all of this began in 2017 when Donald John Trump became the 45th president of the United States of America, because he had a chance to pick 2 Supreme Court justices. So there's some people that are saying, well, what about Ketanji Brown? She's taking the place of one of the liberal judges. Even if she hopped on the court right now, unless Biden appoints another justice, nothing you're going to be able to do about that. And when we have, forgive me, everybody, I'm sorry. When we have Eileen Dordick on the show tomorrow, she'll be able to speak to what could happen. Is it a possibility that this law could be changed or law? Is it a possibility that the draft opinion doesn't become a decision? And what to do once it becomes a decision. We'll try to break all that stuff down with her tomorrow. But today, I believe this is just a day to really ask, what is going on here? And what are we doing? Not the community report, what are we doing, Gliss? But what are we going to do? I know we talked at the beginning of the show, my friend, about how we texted each other. What was your conversation like with Lindsay? Did you guys get a chance to really have this conversation? Did you have the conversation with the boys about what was going on or anything like that? I'm just curious.
We haven't yet. But yeah, we probably will. In particular, Jack and James, they're small enough where it's not probably too much for them at their age, but our 2 older ones, we will absolutely talk about it as we talk about most political things with them, just to to ask them, do you know what's going on with this? Have you heard about this? Have your friends talked about this? Just so that we can always give context of kind of how we feel about things and have a conversation about it. They're old enough where we want to include them on those kind of conversations. Lindsay and I actually have not talked about it very much. And my honest answer to that is because she was so beside herself about it. She didn't want to talk about it. We talked about it briefly. She shared a phone call with one of our good friends, and one of her someone she works with, that we've been friends with forever, and they both had a very fiery conversation about it, just how upset they were. And she was kind of reading some stuff on her phone and would make a comment about it every now and then, and we maybe talked about it for a few minutes, but at that point, she pretty much said, I don't even want to talk about this right now. That's how pissed off I am. And, I can't even, I can't even gather my thoughts enough to, have a conversation about it yet.
There's that. Yeah. I tried last night, a group of old friends, 30 plus year friends. We talked a little bit about it. The term Handmaid's Tale came up a lot.
I've seen some memes and some
Yeah.
stuff on Twitter kind of related to that. Yeah.
Yeah. I have a phrase that I can't say on this platform, but if you read your wife read it, my Instagram post last night.
Yeah.
It's like, and again, I am who I am, and I am what I am, and I can't act like I'm not. I think a woman should have the right to choose what. I think a human being should have a right to choose whatever they want to do with their body, whatever it is. They should have a right to choose that they want to become a trans gender person. That's their choice to make. I don't think the government should be allowed in the choice, but I believe if your choice is to have an abortion, then you should be federally protected in making that choice. It coming back to the states, okay, there's some people that are like, that's how it should be. Well, if your state is working between December and February to change their laws to make sure that there are no abortions, I guess the only people that weren't in on it were us. They knew, the states knew, the states were aware what was going to happen. And talking to my friends last night, not just Handmaid's Tale, but talking about how barbaric this could turn out.
Yeah.
And who's affected the most by these things. Yes. It's one thing if you're in Indiana to be able to say, well, I can go to Illinois and get an abortion. What if you're in Texas? You can't go to Oklahoma. That's the closest state to you. You can't go there. Where are you going? Mexico?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, places like Arizona, Texas, where they've kind of been already, Alabama in the last couple of years, places that have already kind of started to put things in place to make it essentially impossible.
Yep.
And so, yeah, and I kind of, when Lindsay and I briefly talked about it, I kind of, brought that up just if given where we live, it's not as big of an effect on us because of the fact that states like California and Oregon and Washington, there was a story yesterday, I think it was either Connecticut or Massachusetts, that they've been kind of doing the opposite, like kind of making things more accessible, bracing themselves for something like this. But yeah, it still just says so much. Like you said, it's something that's stood for over 50 years. It just feels like, man, like in 2022, like we're really gonna go backwards on something like this. Like
the zeal that these folks want to go right back to the 1940s and 50s is stunning to me. And it's like, well, what is the reason really? And I'm pretty sure if I had a chance to talk to Justice Alito and really ask him, don't give me any jargon, don't give me any legal nothing. Why do you want to overturn Roe v. Wade? His answer would be the standard flake answer. Well, it's because that's not an answer. That's not an answer. If you're upset with Roe v. Wade, is there a way to make that better as opposed to eliminating it? I mean, we can ask those questions tomorrow, I suppose.
Yeah.
But this has been to say, and as I said earlier, everybody in Chicago, Illinois, and I mean everybody, is like, what is going on? Now, you start thinking about the midterms and what this could mean. The idea that we know why this happened, because those justices were appointed by a madman.
Right.
There's a chance to change all of that in the midterms. But now you got these states like Georgia, Alabama, and a couple other ones where voting is almost too hard to do. It's almost impossible. How does that affect that? It's not. This story isn't going anywhere. If anything, it has just became worse. And now the ripple effect of what else will this Supreme Court do? Just a bigger picture. And let me ask you one more thing. I know Oregon's a pretty liberal state. Not pretty liberal, extremely liberal. I know Portland as a city and Beaverton, just Oregon period, is a very liberal place. Did you find last night locally the same thing that happened here, that everybody kind of stopped what they were doing and to be like, what is this? Are they doing what?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it is a very, in particular, the urban areas of the state, like Eugene, Portland's, the rural areas. When you go east, it's definitely more, it's a little more purple to red, but
Yeah.
overall, the majority of the population here is a very progressive minded state, in terms of its politics. And yes, it's like I said, it's just kind of one of those things that kind of knocks you off your feet, where it's almost just like surreal, where it's like, wait,
Yeah.
what? Like that's what's happening? Like that. It's just kind of a shocking thing, and it takes, it's something that takes some time to digest, which obviously is why my wife was like, she was getting caught up in it, seeing as you said, she saw your post. I'm sure she liked your post and was
Yeah.
probably getting, kept pulling herself back into it and making herself frustrated and upset about it. And I think that's probably the way a lot of people feel about
I'm pretty sure I did not make her feel better. Because I was hot, man. All I could
well,
think,
it's something to share in though. So, I mean,
yeah,
that's a good
yeah.
thing.
Oh, yeah, for sure. All I could think about though was just all the women I know. Just like, damn. Not just the older women I know, and they're all lovely. Hello, older women. The younger ladies that I know. I was thinking about my old students who are now have families, who have
Yeah.
daughters that are growing up. And I'm like, damn, what kind of world is on the horizon for them?
Yeah.
I mean, I may have an opportunity in my lifetime to see this be right. I had to think about it just a moment ago. I was born before 1973 when it was, go for it when it came to abortions. I've lived long enough to see it go from we don't know how to protect you to protecting you for almost 50 years to going back to, you let the state take care of it depending on where you live. So I mean, I'm I am I am so grateful for this platform today. Um, as I told you, I know my Thursday show is going to be a mess. Um, but I am really grateful for today because these are the times, and I back channel. I promise I'll read our stuff in just a second. But these are the days where you have to gather your people in and have these conversations and talk about what do we do if. I remember distinctly having clearly having these same kind of conversations in November of 2017. What do we do now? How
Yeah.
do we make sure we have a list of everybody that has resources? What happens if this happens? How do we work this out if this goes down? And I clearly think that is happening. If it hasn't happened already, it's about to happen where people are going to be like, look, this is where you can go to do this. This is what you do for that. Because again, it's not just this that could possibly be a thing. And because this one was leaked, we don't know what other draft opinions they have waiting. But this was the number one thing on the docket for this portion of the Supreme Court, for this season of it anyway. And here we are, man. I just hope that everybody that's listening and watching understands we got a job to do. And our job is to do exactly what we're doing today, to be able to talk to you, to have you talk back to us. So if you got any opinions you'd like to give about the matter, reach us. Reach us. Hi, you can reach me. Reach out to us at Backchannel. We want to have the conversation with you today. We would. This is your day. It's a chance for you to talk about how you feel about it. You can go to backchannel.tv and get into the conversation. Adelaide in Tennessee, hello, Flaky Bass or Bass. Emily, Grace, same hippopotamus, hello. Um, welcome, guys. Let's see here. Who else? Lamp, Winged Mosquito, Shannon. Um, hey there, no name, Debbie. Hi, everybody. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. John in Oregon, thank you. We really appreciate all of you. Get into chat at backchannel.tv. I'm not asking you what to say. I'm not prompting you what to say. Say whatever you like. Whatever side of the fence you may be on about it, here's an opportunity for you to speak on this amazingly historic day in the United States of America, Part 1. It becomes even more historic when the Supreme Court actually, if they do, which you hold out that they won't, but they make the decision to uh, repeal Roe v. Wade. Winged Crane, nice to see you again. Yeah, and there's that. I you got to understand, man. It's wild. This is so wild. This is really just very, very wild. I know you enjoyed that analysis right there. This is very wild. That's all I got. This is just wild, and it doesn't get any less wilder as these days keep going on. Last one in our around the world segment. It involves a pandemic, of course. In April, more than 1,000 vaccine experts gathered in Washington for the first time since the pandemic began. Over 4 days, scientists, doctors, and drug makers poured over cutting-edge research and tackled some of the most pressing questions in the world of vaccines. Essentially, the next pandemic that happens, the thing that will make it even worse than this is hesitancy to get a vaccine. And another pandemic can happen at any time, and it could look different, it could feel different. And if there's a vaccine ready for it, people's hesitancy to get vaccinated could absolutely affect how severe that pandemic is. We're still asking people to get vaccinated. It's been 3 years since this one. And they refer to it as Disease X. Disease X isn't a real thing. It doesn't mean anything. It's just, what do you do? Only 66% of the U.S. population is fully vaccinated, according to the CDC. And that took 3 years to get done. It's one of the top 10 global threats, or the top 10 threats to global health. I think it's in everybody's interest that if you haven't gotten vaccinated yet, or if you haven't gotten your booster yet, that you get it. I'm in line for I forget how many shots I've had. I'm in line for the second booster. I'm still consulting with my doctor about whether to wait until the fall or do it sooner. I'm probably going to do it sooner because now, actually, full disclosure, a guest that we had planned to have on today, her son got sick and has COVID. And I think, and again, I still work in a music venue where there's a lot of people and there's no masks, and I don't trust any of them have gotten shot already. So I may have to make that decision about getting the booster sooner than I wanted to. But there's no doubt in my mind that I'm doing it because no, if the stories I'm hearing are true, and I have no reason to think they aren't, from my friends who've gotten sick with COVID, listening to Gliss talk about what his family has to do now, they're getting ready to try to take a trip and their kid's sick with COVID. No way. I can't, man. I can't do it. Hey, Cody. Hey, Board Deer. Hey, David. Hey, Zach. Welcome to the show. Cody, congratulations, my friend, on your win yesterday, by the way. And he says he got his first COVID shot 2 weeks ago. My man. There you go. There you go. There you go. Everything, I'm telling you, you will walk a little bit differently knowing that you got some protection. It's really important. It's really, really important. Okay, when we come back, we'll have the community report. Skirt's not around, but it's his favorite segment for sure. We will talk about Black Wall Street. We will talk about my city possibly hosting a Democratic National Convention as well. This is The Drive with Mario Smith here on Backchannel.tv, YouTube, and you're checking us out on your Amazon supported devices. We appreciate it. We'll be right back. Welcome to the community report here on the drive with Mario Smith. Thanks so much for watching today. Really appreciate you. Thank you to everybody, by the way, that's checking us out in our back room. Devlin, thank you. Cody says, thank you for the gift card. Haven't received it yet. It's coming. Don't worry. I assure you, you're not messing around. You're gonna really get one.
If he filled out the claim thing, then it shouldn't be more than a couple days, I think.
Yeah, you'll get it. What day is it? Tuesday? It's coming. Don't worry, buddy. You get $25 hot from me and Gliss. You're right now, though. Back to business. You're enjoying the drive. I'm Mario Smith here on Backchannel.tv. Every Monday through Wednesday and Friday, starting at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Send me a chat. If you can see me right now and you're watching on an Echo Show or Fire TV device, the magic word is Hakexa. Just say hello. Get in the chat. We can continue having the conversation about Roe v. Wade if you want. That's fine. If you're listening to me on an Echo speaker, you can go to backchannel.tv, BACKCHANNEL.tv, and hit the chat button there. And while you guys are there, please don't forget to subscribe to the show. Here's a community report. An Oklahoma judge ruled Monday that a lawsuit seeking reparations for the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre can proceed, bringing new hope for some measure of justice for 3 survivors of the deadly racist rampage who are now over 100 years old and were in the courtroom for the decision. Tulsa County District Court Judge Carolyn Wall ruled against the motion to dismiss the suit filed by civil rights attorney Demario Solomon Simmons in 2020. The Tulsa-based attorney said after Wall announced her ruling that it is critical for living survivors Leslie Benningfield Randall, 107, Viola Fletcher, 107, and Hughes Van Ellis, 101. We want them to see justice in their lifetime, he said, choking back tears. I've seen so many survivors die in my 20-plus years without working on this issue. I just don't want to see the last 3 die without justice. That's why the time is of the essence. The packed courtroom, which Wall noted may have been over capacity, erupted in cheers and tears after she handed down her ruling. Solomon Simmons sued under Oklahoma's public nuisance law, saying the actions of the white mob that killed hundreds of black residents and destroyed what had been the nation's most prosperous black business district continue to affect the city today. The lawsuit also seeks reparations for descendants of victims of the massacre. In public nuisance cases, it is clear either criminal acts or destruction of personal property constitute a nuisance, said Eric Miller, a Loyola Marymount University law professor working with the plaintiffs. Miller said that racial and economic disparities resulting from the massacre continue to this day. Chamber of Commerce attorney John Tucker said the massacre was horrible, but the nuisance is not ongoing. Quote, what happened in 1921 was a really bad deal, and those people did not get a fair shake, but that was 100 years ago, Tucker said. Oklahoma sued consumer products giant Johnson & Johnson using the state public nuisance law for its role in the deadly opioid crisis. Initially, a judge ordered the drug maker to pay the state $465 million in damages, but the Oklahoma Supreme Court overturned the J&J verdict, ruling that the public nuisance law did not apply because the company had no control of the drug after it was sold to pharmacies, hospitals, and physicians' offices, and then prescribed by doctors to patients. Miller said the state court's ruling in the Johnson & Johnson case does not affect the lawsuit. The massacre happened when an angry white mob descended on a 35-block area in Tulsa's Greenwood district, killing people and looting and burning businesses and homes. Thousands of people were left homeless and living in a hastily constructed internment camp. The city and insurance companies never compensated victims for their losses, and the massacre ultimately resulted in racial and economic disparities that exist today, the lawsuit claims. In the years following the massacre, according to the lawsuit, city and county officials actively thwarted the community's effort to rebuild and neglected the Greenwood and predominantly black North Tulsa community in favor of overwhelmingly white parts of Tulsa. We will be keeping an eye on that for sure. A man whose death sentence for killing a Missouri couple while robbing their home was overturned 3 times was scheduled to be executed today. Carmen Deck, 56, would be just the fifth U.S. inmate to be executed this year if his lethal injection goes ahead. His hopes for a reprieve were all but dashed yesterday when the U.S. Supreme Court turned aside an appeal and Republican Governor Mike Parson declined Deck's clemency request, though he could file new appeals. Deck, who was from the St. Louis area, was a friend of the grandson of James and Zelma Long and knew they kept a safe in their home, DeSoto, about 45 miles southwest of St. Louis, according to court records. In July 1996, Deck and his sister stopped at the home under the guise of asking for directions. Deck told a detective that he wasn't surprised to be invited inside by the couple who were in their late 60s. They're country folks, Deck said, according to court records. They always do. Once inside, Deck pulled a gun from his waistband. At Deck's command, Zelma Long opened the safe and removed jewelry, then got $200 from her purse and more money hidden in a canister. Deck ordered the couple to lie on their stomachs on their bed. Court records said Deck stood there for 10 minutes deciding what to do, then shot James Long twice in the head before doing the same to Zelma Long. A tip alerted police to Deck, and he was arrested later that night outside his sister's apartment building in St. Louis County. The decorative tin canister from the Long home was in his car. Prosecutors said Deck later gave a full account of the killings. He was sentenced to death in 1998, but the Missouri Supreme Court tossed the sentence due to errors by Deck's trial lawyer. He was condemned to death the second time, but the U.S. Supreme Court threw out the sentence in 2005, citing the prejudice caused by Deck being shackled in front of the jury. He was sentenced to death for a third time in 2008, but U.S. District Judge Catherine Perry overturned that sentence 9 years later after she determined that substantial evidence arguing against the death penalty during Deck's first two penalty phases was unavailable for the third because witnesses had died, couldn't be found, or declined to cooperate. In October 2020, a three-judge panel of the 8th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals restored the death penalty, ruling that Deck should have raised his concern first in state court, not federal court. Appeals of that ruling were unsuccessful. Deck's clemency petition said he suffered sexual abuse and beatings as a child, and that he and his siblings were often left alone without food. That's why you would go and kill somebody many, many years later that had nothing to do with you not having food. Thanks, Mr. Deck. Bye-bye. See you soon. Well, you won't be seeing me soon. That would be a trick. Well, my hometown, the beautiful windy city of Chicago, is officially bidding to host the Democratic National Convention, and billionaire Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker is promising to dig into his own pockets to help raise money to support the event. The city offered its proposal today to the Democratic National Committee, featuring a video narrated by the Chicago-born rapper and artist Common, good friend of mine, that's my buddy. A highlight reel, not my best friend or anything. A highlight reel flashed images that included the Obamas, Michael Jordan, Lake Michigan, and Chicago's many neighborhoods. NBC News in March first reported on the coordinated effort among Illinois Democrats to land the convention here in Chicago. The DNC last month asked selected cities to submit their bids by May 27th, among them Chicago, Houston, and Atlanta. Early conversations among some National Party members favored Illinois because it is in the Midwest and it is a Democratic measure to carry in 2024. Democrats here also hold both Senate seats, the governor's mansion, and the Chicago mayor's office. Fundraising efforts are already underway, and Pritzker himself is privately committed to make a personal investment, two sources with knowledge of the fundraising said. In January, Pritzker, a Democrat who is up for re-election this fall, moved $90 million into his campaign fund. The bid, which did not specify a host convention site, argued that venues across the city could accommodate large-scale crowds, including United Center, where the Chicago Bulls and Blackhawks hold their games. It played host to the convention in 1996. Gliss, I don't know if I've said this before on the show. I think I have. I'm almost sure I have. By the way, Boomy. Hey, Boomy. What's up? I hope it's who I think it is, Boomy. Hey, Proman or Proman. Steady Emu, Abiding Rattlesnake. Hello. Therapeutic Rooster. Hello. I think I've mentioned this before. The Democratic National Convention in 1996 was where I first interviewed and first met Charles Ridenour, better known to the world as Chuck D. and his dad outside the Hard Rock Cafe. We had a hour-long sit down, and I did not have a tape recorder, so I had to write everything down. It was pretty cool. It was a pretty cool article. Chuck and I, every now and then, get a chance to talk to each other still, and he's a really cool guy. I met that night inside the Hard Rock Cafe a beautiful and very small Sheryl Crow and Chris Rock. And they were having this conversation with each other. It was the wildest thing I've ever been to in my life. That was wild. Yep. So I hope they have it again. That'll be cool.
That would be cool.
You know? Yeah, why not, man? Chicago can do it. Hey, look, of the 3 national conventions we've held, only one of them turned out really bad.
That's true.
It turned out really bad. I don't think that's going to happen again. But what if it did? Man, that would be terrible. Because this time it would be for it all. I mean, we're in the future now. You know what I'm saying? That's when you come to Chicago, Gliss. That's when you and the wife come here. When the convention's happening.
I would come for that.
Oh, you on your private jet? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay. Well, what an hour. That went fast. That was promontory fast, Gliss. Man. We will reset and have the second hour of our show. You ready, man? Can we do another hour, you think? Are we good still? I'm checking my email. I swear to God, I check my email so much when we do this show just to make sure nobody's like, turn it off. Turn your mic off. Nobody said that yet. I'm always in fear. And one day I'm going to look down. It's going to be like, RM has sent you an email. Like, uh-oh, turn it off. Shut it down. All right. Let's take a break and get it together. When we come back, we'll have hour 2 of The Drive with Mario Smith. Thank you, everybody, for being a passenger on the show. That was a community report. We will have headlines, and then I will rub my hands, smack them like that, and then we will have our entertainment report. We got to talk about the Met Gala. Ooh. It's The Drive with Mario Smith here on Backchannel.tv. You're also watching on YouTube and checking us out on all your Amazon-supported devices, and we truly appreciate it. Hour number 2 is next. We will be right back. Good afternoon, everybody. It's hour 2 of The Drive. You can tell if you've been watching hour 1, the border changes. This is when it gets all groovy and cool before it's serious. Got to bring it in. My name is Mario Smith. Thank you so much for checking us out today. I really appreciate all of the folks who are watching. Unusual Parrot asks, how old are we? Hold on, there's more. It says he's going to a golf tournament today. Ginger is wanting somebody to find her phone. And Unusual Parrot also says, in it. Kevin's in Tennessee. So how old are we, Gliss? Do we dare tell our ages? I don't think that that's appropriate.
I mean, I'm 38.
I'm 54, dude. That's my birthday's coming up.
Oh, yeah?
July, yeah.
Okay.
Where I'm pretty sure that I will be gone on 2 of those days in July. That's almost a guarantee. And if I do make it out to the West Coast, I don't think I'm going to miss any days. I'm bringing the the traveling show with me.
There you go.
Oh yeah. How could I not? Come on, man.
More fun.
Yeah. Take 2 days off of take 2 hours out of my vacation time to chat, see the people, say hello,
fill them in on what's going on, and
yeah. Tell people how old I am. I don't know why that matters. How old are you, unusual parrot? I bet I know how old you are.
Yeah, like I said, I think I'm gonna have to on the 18th, episode 75 is. I checked on our itinerary. Mm-hmm. We're gonna be at sea that day, but I might have to, step outside on the Pacific Ocean and call into the show to say happy 75th. So
hey, man, that's a milestone.
I know.
That's part of the negotiations for our $45 million that we're trying to get. We made it to 75 shows. Ooh, because we're what? This is 66. Yeah, we're getting close, man. Getting super close. I gotta find something to wear. Welcome to The Drive. I'm your host, Mario Smith, live here on Backchannel, the only place on your Echo device where you can watch and listen to live shows and chat with the hosts in real time. We are here every Monday through Wednesday and Friday from 4 p.m. Eastern time. Just if you're Central, it's an hour back. If you're Pacific, it's 2 hours back. Please send us a chat and ask us questions like, what was his name? Forgot that fast. Unusual Parrot asked how old we were. Send us your chats and all that, and we will definitely read them. If you can see me right now and you're watching on an Echo show or Fire TV, the magic word is Capexa, and that's not the real word, but you get it. And then jump on in and tell us what's up, how you're feeling about things, and we'll do that and have that conversation with you. If you're just listening to us, which I don't want to diminish it by saying just listening. If you're listening to us the old-fashioned way on an Echo speaker, which is really cool to me, you can go to backchannel.tv, backchannel.tv, and push the chat button and get in the chat. You know what I mean? Say hello. Say hi to us. Me and Gliss. Gliss he's in Oregon. He's 38 years old. He's 38. I'm 54. We're like the new detectives on TV, except we don't have guns and we don't have a car and we're not in the same place. So we're really not like the detectives on TV. Not bad. The headlines are too depressing, but Roe v. Wade is in danger of being repealed. And overnight at the Supreme Court, and currently there are protests taking place, not just at the Supreme Court, but around the United States at this hour for sure. And we keep an eye on that and all the stories of the day, as we are wont to do. We're not giving anything away today. Why am I thinking we were giving something away? That's not happening. All right. Let's take a break. A very quick one. Super quick. We're going to talk about Black China, Kim Kardashian, the Met Gala. That's all the first three. And actually, what should be the top one, see if you agree with me, Topanga. Yes. Oh, yes. Topanga.
You're a fan?
Oh, boy, am I ever.
Well, when I saw that story on there, I actually went to, when I lived in LA, she went to my middle school.
What? You know her?
I don't know her. I was in sixth grade at A.E. Wright Middle School in Los Angeles. It's kind of in that area right there. That since I lived there, we only lived there for like 2 years.
Yeah.
But now that's like, where everybody lives, like Calabasas, Agora Hills. So
that's where Ye lives.
Yeah, that's where everybody lives now.
Right.
When we lived there, the only people that were really notable that I knew that lived in Calabasas, or it might have been Agora Hills, were Ron Goldman's parents.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And
wow.
I did have a friend though. He lived like in this massive house, and one of his neighbors was a director, and they filmed an episode of Melrose Place there, and we got to go like watch them film for 2 days. And we met like Heather Locklear, I'm like 13 at the time. And then his other neighbor was Tom Arnold.
Whoa.
So yeah, so I used to love spending the night at his house. He had like a pool, a tennis court, all kinds
I
of stuff
bet.
going on.
And Tom
Um,
Arnold doing a whole bunch of stuff. He just had, man.
yeah, I don't know what he was up to, but
Oh yeah, pretty sure.
yeah, yeah. Topanga, she went to my middle school, and so did Jonathan Taylor Thomas briefly,
Wow,
but he used to get
JTT.
made fun of a lot. Yeah, and so I think that's why he got pulled out because people used to make fun of him.
JTT.
They were just jealous,
They made
obviously.
fun of him?
Yeah, I think it was a really big school. It was like kind of a weird school because it had like lots of rich kids, but it also had lots of kids that were kind of the opposite of that. So it was like a collision course. So there was, we had some gang problems, we had some yuppies, we had a little bit of everything as far as the demographics go. So
I think we need to have a full show, 2 hours, just about Topanga. Danielle Fisher is the greatest.
we'll have to get her on the show.
Oh man, look, let me tell you something. I have to dress up that day.
I'll get on that. I'm gonna send out some emails. You never know.
Hey man, why Topanga? I promise not to call her Topanga. I promise I won't be like, so Topanga. No, don't do that.
Yeah, because that would be weird.
That would be super weird, and then that would be not me. That would be me. That would be me being someone that is a fan, and not doing my responsible job. But I must tell you, I used to get so mad when I watched that show because I would be like, he does not know how to handle this woman.
He doesn't get it.
He doesn't get it. Topanga is a flower. She is gentle. You have to be gentle with your beautiful flower. You can't be a goofball. You gotta, make her laugh, buy her some nice things all the time, take her out to dinner. Although he was a child, he's like, couldn't do that. But you know what I mean? Topanga, sir. Yeah, big fan. When I saw that this morning, I was like, Jack Harlow, screw him, Topanga. Super excited. Andrew McClain says, happy Tuesday. Thank you, sir. Happy Tuesday to you. My Mavs blew game 1. Yeah, they did. I just think Phoenix is a little bit. Look, I got the Warriors in 5. I've got Phoenix in 6. They're Luka is the man and all. But those Phoenix Suns are very, very good. I still think the Celtics are going to beat Milwaukee, and Miami's going to probably beat Philly. This is going to be good. This is going to be good all the way to the bitter end. This is going to be fun. The NBA playoffs. When we come back, we will have the entertainment report. And we talk about the Kardashians and about the Met Gala and people looking weird and all those cool things. We'll do all of it in just a moment. This is The Drive with Mario Smith here on Backchannel.tv, and we'll be back after these words. Welcome back, everybody. Hey there. It's The Drive with Mario Smith. I'm here. I don't hear music, but I imagine you all are still there. They're here now. Andrew McClain says the Suns are 50-0 when leading after 3 quarters. All right. They're a good team. They're a very, very, very good basketball team. You're going to have to do a lot of things to throw them off, man. A good night by Devin Booker and Chris Paul. That's a solid game. It's going to be hard to beat them. I'm just saying. It's going to be very, very hard to beat them. So let's get on with it. A Los Angeles jury yesterday found that Kim Kardashian and her family did not unjustly harm the career of model Black China. I've never seen this woman model a damn thing ever. If anyone out there knows Black China, I am not talking about her personally. Just saying I ain't never seen it. The civil panel had been deliberating since Thursday and returned verdicts in favor of Kardashian, her mother, Kris Jenner, and her sisters, Khloe Kardashian and Kylie Jenner. After the verdict, attorneys for the Kardashian and Jenner family expressed appreciation for the jury and said they were thankful for the steady hand of Los Angeles Superior Court Judge Gregory Alacron. The jury sent a clear message to Ms. White and her lawyer. I hope they are listening. Smart mouth attorney said in a statement. Justice has prevailed. China's attorney Lin Xiana said in a statement Tuesday that the jury was given a verdict sheet that was, quote, confusing and unduly prejudicial, close quote. Xiana added, based on the sheet marked by jurors, that the jury found statements by Kris and Kylie Jenner that China attacked and would continue to abuse Rob Kardashian were not substantially true. The jury did, however, mark on the sheet seen by NBC News, the place where the story came from, that the women had reasonable grounds to believe the statements to be true. China, whose legal name is Angela White, had claimed that the Keeping Up with the Kardashian stars destroyed her television career after she broke up with Rob Kardashian, the only son of Kris Jenner and the late Robert Kardashian Sr. Black China became famous because of this. Was Black China on TV before Keeping Up with the Kardashians? Oh, no, she wasn't. Their relationship had led to them scoring their own Keeping Up spinoff, Rob and China, on the E! Network. A second season of Rob and China was in production when they broke up in 2017 and the show was scrapped. Whatever. God. So to celebrate, Kim Kardashian wore a dress inspired by Marilyn Monroe's Mr. President dress to the Met Gala. There we go, everybody. Kim Kardashian wore Marilyn Monroe's iconic gown from when she performed Happy Birthday, Mr. President to this year's Met Gala, confirming a widespread fan theory about what she'd sport for the fashion's biggest event of the year. This year's Met Gala theme is In America, an anthology of American fashion. Guests were encouraged to emulate gilded glamour. Monroe's dress was ahead of its time. Kardashian, 41, told Vogue in an interview published just before she appeared on the carpet. She said the idea came to her after last year's gala in September, when she wore a head-to-toe black Balenciaga, which inspired Met Gala memes. I will say this. You can put that picture up, Gliss, if you like. I will say that Kim Kardashian can wear a dress. I will leave it at that. I mean, she doesn't look, terrible. She's a very beautiful woman and all, I guess. I mean, she is, I suppose. But yeah, she wore that dress. She did that. I thought to myself, what would I have done for the American theme if it had not been for the Balenciaga look? What's the most American thing you can think of? And that's Marilyn Monroe, Kardashian said. Monroe's dress, which she wore to President John F. Kennedy's birthday fundraiser in 1962, is one of the most recognizable outfits from American history. Designed by Jean-Louis, the sleek backless gown includes 2,500 hand-stitched crystals. Monroe was reportedly sewn into the dress for a seamless fit. It was one of Monroe's last public appearances before her death less than 3 months later. Nowadays, everyone wears sheer dresses, but back then, that was not the case, she said to Vogue. In a sense, it's the original naked dress. That's why it was so shocking. Kardashian had been hinting at wearing the vintage piece for weeks. During the red carpet premiere of Hulu's The Kardashians last month, she told Access Hollywood that her Met Gala attendance depended on her dress fitting. It really depends if I fit into my dress, so I hope I'm going. What? I mean,
it's so funny because it's like, even though I know it's you talking, it's still annoying the crap out
Ain't
of
it
me.
annoying? It's annoying to me, and I'm doing it.
It's like it's like you're somehow channeling her, and it's irritating me. Like I'm like in my head, I'm like, shut up! Like I don't care.
I'm doing my job. Hey, look, I am equally irritated by her and this, but
And it's not you. I mean, it's not you. It's just like I can't. For some reason, I can't. Like it's like I feel like she's really speaking to me, even though I know even though I know it's you. It's like
a gift I have.
It's still getting to me.
All right, I'm
like,
almost
all right,
done.
Kim, be quiet. Like that's the only thing that was going through my head as you were doing that. Like I'm fully aware that it's you.
I'm almost done.
Oh boy.
I think it will be up to the last minute because it can't be tailored, so I have to fit into it like exactly. Kardashian and her boyfriend Pete Davidson were spotted leaving Ripley's Believe It or Not museum last month, The Sun reported. Ripley's bought the dress from a 2016 auction for $4.8 million and displays it at its Orlando, Florida location. Of course they do. Pete looked nice last night, by the way, on the red carpet. He looked good. It looks like he's not doing dope no more. It looks good. I don't mean to be so street with it, but Pete Davidson was getting higher than an astronaut's backside, dude. He looks good. If she's done nothing else, she's keeping this boy alive, and that's important. Okay, that reported visit, as well as Kardashian's legacy of wearing tight dresses and her comments alluding to dress fittings, clued fans into her Met Gala outfit. Kardashian first tried on a replica of the dress, which fit perfectly, she told Vogue. The original dress was shipped to her home in Calabasas, California via private plane, where she had to wear gloves to try it on. Oh, there's more. So when it didn't fit me, I wanted to cry because it can't be altered at all, she said. To wear the dress, Kardashian said she wore a sauna suit twice a day, exercised daily, and adhered to a strict diet devoid of sugar and carbs. I didn't starve myself, but I was so strict. I wanted to cry tears of joy when it went out. On the red carpet, she told Vogue she lost 16 pounds to fit to the dress. It was such a challenge. It was like a role. I was determined to fit. Given don't go away. Given the fragile nature of the gown and its historical significance, Kardashian says she only plans to wear the original dress for a matter of minutes. She changed into the dress itself at a special fitting room at the base of the Met Gala steps with a Ripley's conversationist, conservationist assisting her. Oh, I'm saying though, she looks really bloody good in this dress. She looks good, man.
She's the worst.
She is horrible, but she looks good in this dress. Yeah.
Yeah, she looks good, but
she looks good in the dress. I'm extremely respectful to the dress and what it means.
A sauna suit? Give me a break. It was like I was playing. Come on, you're playing a role. Give me a break, lady. Like, get over yourself.
This is the greatest show. Hey, episode 66. Mark it down. This is the one. This is the one. This is the one. Everything had to be specifically timed, and I had to practice walking up the stairs. The gown is now valued at over $10 million, according to Ripley's Believe It or Not. In a post on its website, Ripley's Believe It or Not said, Marilyn Monroe's happy birthday dress, now also Kim Kardashian's 2022 Met Gala look, will be on display at Ripley's Believe It or Not, Hollywood, for a limited time beginning Memorial Day weekend. Bliss hates her so much. It gives me such great joy to find anything with her name on it because I don't like her and I know he hates her. It's so good. Oh, thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming to Mario Playhouse Theater. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Andrew McLean. That accent, bro. Yeah, it's pretty bad. I know. Thank you all. Who else said? Anybody else say anything or have anything to say? Thank you. Thank you so much, Cody. Thank you, Lacking Pigeon, Damon, Nikki, Timely Gopher, all of you. Thank you so much. Hey, want to hear some more about the Met Gala, or are we done talking about it? Is that
Yeah,
Rihanna?
go for it. Yeah,
That is Rihanna.
yeah, she's there.
This woman is having a baby like really soon. She is so good. Now, see, I can talk about Rihanna all day. I won't use a phony voice for her. But let's just make a mental note. I am consistent with my Kim Kardashian voice because that's how she sounds to me. Met Galas have been hot pot of coffee. Who is that? Okay. Met Galas have been Met Galas. He's been to a few, but James Corden, schmoozing at this year's cocktail reception, looked around and pronounced that this might be his favorite yet. Classy, he explained. It just feels really classy. The TV host waved his arm around the room, taking in the hundreds of guests who follow the sartorial instructions. Gilded glamour, and came in the best Gilded Age finery they could muster. Elegant gowns, shimmering with gold, classic black and white tails, and even some top hats. Headpieces and bustles, and perhaps the accessory of the night, the tiara, sported by none other than Vogue's Anna Wintour, who runs the gala wearing a family heirloom. Even allowing for creativity, this was not the night for artfully ripped jeans. Of course, take one letter off of classy and you have class with all the tricky implications. That wasn't the word I was thinking. Take 3 words off of classy. I made myself laugh. Ooh-wee.
Oh my goodness.
Ooh. Because to me, that's what this is really all about.
I spit out some of my drink when you said that.
Wow, what is going on today? Yeah, man. Take 2 words off, take 3 words off classy. You have how Mario feels about this event. And it's the first 2 letters in the last one. Certainly New York florists were back if they hadn't been already. The question is whether there were any pink roses left in the city after Monday's gala, because we all know in New York, everybody's looking for pink roses. The outside steps to the Met were lined with 50,000, with another 75,000 surrounding the lobby centerpiece. Another 150,000 roses bathed every inch of the Great Hall staircase, a striking backdrop for the host's receiving line. I have a question. Did Chris Rock come to this? Because he goes to these. Was Will Smith there? Yeah, I mean, you would know if they would have been there, right? It would have been a story. Let's see. Who was there? Oh, God, this is horrible. Again, why? Why did Mario decide that this was going to be what he wanted to talk about? Okay, never mind. I'm done with the Met Gala. I want to talk about Topanga, and then we're going to talk about sports, because Topanga is what's happening. For anybody that doesn't know who Topanga is, I need you to listen to everything. What I'm about to tell you is important. Go to YouTube after this show is over and find Boy Meets World and Topanga. 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 You know, before I read this story, can I just share with you how important Topanga is to American television? Never mind. The name of Boy Meets World character Topanga trended on Twitter on Monday after Danielle Fishel appeared in a teaser for rapper Jack Harlow's upcoming music video. Fishel played Topanga Lawrence on the Boy Meets World series from 1993 to 2000 when the show ended. She later reprised her role in 2014 for her spinoff series Girl Meets World, which ended in 2017. On Monday afternoon, Harlow tweeted a teaser for his upcoming music video, Come Home, The Kids Miss You, which shows a street lined with homes and cars before zooming in on an SUV. Fishel sits behind the wheel in the promo. Although she doesn't speak, she looks as if she might burst into tears while 2 children dressed in costumes roughhouse in the back seat. By 6 p.m. Eastern yesterday, the video had been viewed more than 400,000 times. Fishel also shared the teaser on her Instagram page, writing, somewhere between Urban Wyatt, at Drewski Too Funny, and at Champagne Poppy, I have entered the Jack Harlow universe. This Friday, come home, the kids miss you. And then it's a bunch of weird hashtags. Coolest mom I know commented fellow Disney alum Christy Carlson Romano. Many online who shared the video or tweeted reactions to it expressed excited. This Gliss, because people think I can't read, this sentence says many online who shared the video or tweeted reactions to it expressed excited over seeing Fischel. Should say expressed excitement.
Yeah,
It says expressed excited.
Yeah, that's not correct.
Right. I'm just saying because I read these and then I know I can read. I really can. And then there are times like this where it's like Mario clearly cannot read. Why is he here at Backchannel? That I didn't do that.
No, it is surprising how often things get misprinted on some of these sites. It's almost like there's so many stories put out from news organizations that they just just throw it in there.
Yeah. And it's like I get it, but I can do proofreading. I can work right up to the show, and then I can come back on and work an hour after the show if you want. NBC News. Learn how to get your writing right. Come on. Am I bugging, or is that Topanga? One person tweeted with the heart eyes emoji. Some question who hurt Topanga and who needed to learn a lesson because of it. Topanga is crying. What? Somebody needs to get punched ASAP, another person wrote, including the hashtag childhood crush. Others joked about how they could help the beloved childhood star. One tweet equals one prayer for Topanga, another person wrote. And there you go. That's the entertainment, the best entertainment report we've ever done. Ceaseless Hummingbird, Pleasant Crow, and Chili Carp. All of you, welcome. Your passengers on the drive today. Let's I have to calm down. That was so fun. That was right there. I needed that. When we come back, we will have sportsy sports. I'll put on my sports hat and we will talk about the NBA. We'll talk about the NFL and some other things too. It's The Drive with Mario Smith here on Backchannel.tv. We'll be right back after these words. Welcome back, everybody. It's time for the Dylan T. Pickles sports page. Early this morning, the Biden administration reclassified WNBA star Brittany Griner as wrongfully detained by Russia. The U.S. government now considers WNBA star Brittany Griner to be wrongfully detained by the Russian government, signaling a significant shift in how officials will try to get her home. Quote, the welfare and safety of U.S. citizens abroad is among the highest priorities of the U.S. government, the State Department said. The Department of State has determined that the Russian Federation has wrongfully detained U.S. citizen Brittany Griner. The U.S. government will continue to undertake efforts to provide appropriate support to Ms. Griner. The officials and other sources close to Griner's case declined to say what led to this shift or whether there have been any discussions about what it would take to secure her release. Brittany has been detained for 75 days, and our expectation is that the White House do whatever is necessary to bring her home, Griner's agent Lindsay Kawaga-Kola said in a statement to ESPN today. The change in official designation means that the U.S. government will no longer wait for Griner's case to play out through the Russian legal system and will seek to negotiate her return. It also means that Griner's fellow WNBA players and supporters in Congress will be told they have the family's blessing to bring as much attention to her case as they wish. We feel really good about it, a source close to Griner said, told ESPN. But we also know it can drag out, so we don't want to get our hopes too high. A source close to Griner also confirmed Monday that former U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, Bill Richardson, who has worked privately for years as an international hostage negotiator, agreed to work on Griner's case last week. Experts have said Richardson's involvement would be a crucial sign that her case has moved into a new realm. Until now, Griner's personal team had followed State Department advice to keep a low profile so as not to make her a more valuable asset to Vladimir Putin's government. Reached late Monday, a State Department official sent ESPN a statement saying the Department of State has determined that the Russian Federation has wrongly detained U.S. citizen Brittany Griner. With this determination, the special presidential envoy for hostage affairs, Roger Carstens, will lead the interagency team for securing Brittany Griner's release. I didn't know what was happening with those drums there for a second, Gliss. Ooh, this is sports music playing.
Some of these things are kind of weird.
Man, why am I having so much fun today? That's good. Okay. Now, the official said that does not mean Griner is considered a hostage, which is a different legal classification than wrongful detainee. All right. And I hear someone talking that's not me or you, and I have to shut them up. I was thinking about Brittany Griner before this happened, before this all came out today. And my thought is they just let that gentleman out a couple of days ago. And I immediately thought, man, she's already pretty thin. And depending on how they're treating her, I hope that she's okay. Like, I don't know why that popped into my head, but I hope that she's all right. Hopefully, this is coming to an end soon. There's no value in keeping Brittany Griner in Russia. None.
No.
None at all. Absolutely none. Let's talk a little bit more about the NFL draft, the football draft, as I referred to it yesterday, where the football players were getting picked by a guy and then hugged by some gregarious gentleman who probably had on a flak jacket of some sort, because I saw a couple of the brothers try to squeeze him to death. When it comes to the first round of the NFL draft, I guess that's what it's really called, the NFL draft. All right. The league loves to build up as much drama as possible with each pick, but there was at least one team that decided to throw the drama out the window this year, and apparently the NFL wasn't happy about it. Detroit, the Lions, the hapless Detroit Lions, the worst team in professional sports, the bums from Detroit. They're horrible, they're awful, they're terrible. How dare they have a franchise still after all this time? Had the second overall pick on Thursday night, and after watching Jacksonville, another horrible team, select Travon Walker with the top pick, the Lions had 10 minutes to let the NFL know who they were going to select with their pick. As it turns out, though, the Lions didn't need 10 minutes to make their pick. As a matter of fact, they barely needed 60 seconds to select Aiden Hutchinson out of Michigan, who is a grown, you-know-what man. I am really worried because Aiden Hutchinson is good. According to Peter King of NBC Sports, the Lions turned their draft card in within a minute of Walker being selected. The Lions made their pick so quickly that the NFL was actually upset about it. We turned the card in so fast, the league got mad at us, a Lions official told King. As you can see below, well, you can't see it, but I can. There were only 2 minutes between when the NFL announced the first pick and the second pick on Twitter. To put that in perspective, there were 6 minutes between the announcement of Hutchinson and the announcement of the third overall pick, Derek Stingley Jr., who went to the Texans. They got mad. They were really upset. The NFL draft is a made-for-TV extravaganza, so it makes sense that the league wants the teams to add some drama by milking out most of their time limit when they're on the clock in the first round. But wait a minute, Gliss. I'm with the Lions. Why am I waiting on you? This is your TV show, so I'm trying to get by. We suck.
Yeah, I don't care.
I don't care.
No, especially if you're excited, you have the second pick in the draft, and you think you're that sure you got your guy. Like, yeah, it's nothing wrong with that.
No, nothing at all. Do it. Take the pick. What? The NFL is mad because it messed up their TV show. They'll be fine. They have 16 weeks of television shows. They have a network that's on 24 hours a day. The NFL is a 365-day-a-year living organization. They'll be fine. Major Goat, Face All, Hissing, that's Hissing Porcupine, Welcome to the show. If you're enjoying the show, there are two ways to support the show that would really help me out. If you're watching right now and see that subscribe button, please click it. Subscriber will let you know when we're going live. And also, I have some wonderful things planned for you in the coming weeks. I really do. And I'm looking forward to laying that on you. And another way you can really help me out, where you is no matter how you're viewing the show or listening to it, is to subscribe and leave a review. Positive reviews keep the show going, and we read the reviews, which we will try to read on Friday. I will go and do my due diligence and search them, try to read them on Friday. So please go to backchannel.tv, BACKCHANNEL.tv, and leave us a review. This blew me away. DeAndre Hopkins, star wide receiver with the Arizona Cardinals. With the Arizona Cardinals, has been suspended for 6 games for violating the NFL's policy on the use of performance-enhancing drugs. The suspension means that Hopkins will be out until mid-October. He had already missed the last 4 games of 2021. The ban will keep him off the field until at least week 7, and it could keep him out until week 8 if the Cards get a bye during the first 6 weeks of the season. Hopkins reacted to the suspension yesterday, tweeting out that he was, quote, confused and shocked by his positive test. Here's his quote. In my 10-year career, I have never tested positive for using performance-enhancing drugs. To learn that my November test came back with trace elements of a banned substance, I was confused and shocked. I am very mindful of what I put in my body and have always taken a holistic approach. So I am working with my team to investigate how this could have happened. But even as careful as I have been, clearly I wasn't careful enough. For that, I apologize to Cardinal fans, my teammates, the entire Cardinals organization. I never want to let my team down. If the Cardinals knew this was coming, that would explain why they made the surprising trade for Marquise Brown during the draft. On the first night of the 2022 football draft, the NFL draft, All Dogs Go to Heaven is happening in my hallway right now. I don't know if you guys can hear that. There is a parade of dogs, and they make all kinds of noise. And they decided to do it today at 38 minutes after they're out. All right, dogs. The Cardinals sent the 23 overall pick to Baltimore in exchange for Brown and the 100th overall pick that was later used to select defensive lineman Majai Sanders out of Cincinnati. The loss of Hopkins is a devastating one for a Cardinals offense that always seems to struggle when he's out. They don't play well without him. I was super surprised to hear that dude got in any kind of trouble at all. All right, Gliss, let's talk a little basketball. Bucks Celtics tonight. Man, they blew the Celtics out. I don't think that's happening again. I think the Celtics come back and win this game tonight in a large way. I think Boston has. Hey, Tina. I think Boston has the wherewithal to win this game and the next 2 games over Milwaukee. I said it before when the Bulls played them. I'll say it again. Make Giannis score 100 points on you. Stop everybody else.
Yeah.
And if you're going to go to the 3-point line and try to shoot threes on them, know that they're not going to play defense because they're giving you the shot. Until you start hitting those, they're not going to try to stop you. So I think Boston wins tonight in a big way.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think this series is probably going to go, close to the distance. I'm thinking. I think it'll probably go 6 or 7 games. But I'm kind of hoping Boston wins. I get when it's not my team, like I tend to start rooting in the interests of like storylines.
Right.
And we already got the Milwaukee thing last year, so I'm kind of done with it. It's like, all right, Giannis got his championship. It's a great story, especially living in a place like Portland. You like to see a smaller market like Milwaukee win a championship, or a team like Phoenix, another smaller market closer to the size of Portland. Like to see them do good, but that's where my I'm kind of with you. I'm looking at the Suns to see if they can get back to the finals, and I think if they do get back to the finals, I think Chris Paul finally gets his ring. So yeah, I definitely think this Boston Milwaukee series is probably going at least 6 or 7 games.
I just got one of those.
It can't go more than 7.
No, it can't. That would be something. If it's 8 games,
that I'm sure.
You want to hear something? I don't know if I should even be talking about. Maybe I'll just type it to you. Let's see. I just got an email from somebody saying they're Amazon.
Saying they are Amazon.
Yeah, they said they are Amazon. They are not Amazon.
I am Amazon.
Hello. I am Amazon. Hello. I am Amazon. I want to tell you something you just won. I just won an Amazon gift card, and I didn't do anything. What a thing. The other part of the sports, and then we're gonna say goodbye to sports, and I'll take my sports hat off. James Harden, in order for Philly to win, even if they have the guy I hate but love at the same time. And why do I can't? What is wrong with me? I can't remember Joel Embiid's name. All right, there it is. James Harden better show up in this next game, or Miami's gonna walk them out and tell them thank you, get out of our town, because they'll go up to Philly and win a game for sure, and they ain't not losing in Miami. I think James Harden has probably. I think he may have peaked. And I hate saying that because he's one of my favorite players. But there's something going on with him. And when he gets on a team, it changes the chemistry of the team. And I know Doc Rivers is in Philly, and Doc Rivers is Doc Rivers. He's a man from Illinois, by the way. But I don't think the Sixers can beat Miami. I don't. I think they're gonna have a hard time doing that. If they do beat Miami, though, good on them. That'll be big. So we'll find out. Basketball tonight. A lot of sportsy sports. Baseball tonight. Cubs, White Sox here in Chicago is a big deal to some folks. It may be snowing. There's some craziness. But it'll be good to see that go down, I guess. And then that's it. That's your look at sports. Real quick before we go front of mind, on this day, the first regular steam train passenger service begins in 1830. Oh, man, let me tell you, nice trains. In 1948, the CBS Evening News with Douglas Edwards debuts. I was sitting in front of my television, my black and white. I remember it. In 86, NASA's bad luck streak continues after the Challenger explosion, when an unmanned Delta rocket lost power in its main engine shortly after liftoff, forcing its destruction by remote control. Birthdays today. Hyde Park, where I live, native, and CBS Sports god, Greg Gumbel's birthday is today. He's 76 years old. Wow. Bruce Hall, the bass player for REO Speedwagon, is 69, and Jeff Hornacek, one of my favorite basketball players, believe it or not, is 59 today. On this date in music history, Elton John makes his first appearance on Soul Train, singing Benny and the Jets and Philadelphia Freedom in 1975. In 1986, Addicted to Love by Robert Palmer is number 1 on the U.S. Top 40 chart, and it all went away. And I saw Hypnotized, and I believe that's by a gentleman by the name of Biggie. The Notorious B.I.G. Hypnotized hits number 1 on the U.S. Top 40 and stayed there for 3 weeks in 1997. Okay. Yeah. Let's get to the there's so much left of this show, gang, and we're gonna have our front of mind segment in just a moment. It's The Drive with Mario Smith, and we're on time. We'll be back in just a moment. story you can take to your lunch table at school, kids. If you're a working person, you can take it to your office tomorrow. If you're on Zoom, you can tell your friends about it before you guys start working. And when Massachusetts DoorDash driver Sophia Furtado walked up to deliver a pizza order on February 11th, she found the woman who placed the order unresponsive on the ground, bleeding from the head. Karen Herbert Sullivan had been waiting outside to meet the driver when her arm, which had previously been injured, and her bad knee both gave out as she turned. She hit her head, and by the time Furtado arrived, the emergency medical technician training she'd once taken told her that based on the congealed blood, Sullivan had probably been lying there 15 or 20 minutes. The police say Furtado became part of the team when she called 911, confirming that she would stabilize Sullivan's spine and would stay with her. Sullivan survived a traumatic brain injury after emergency surgery. Furtado received praise from Sullivan and her doctor for saving her life, various awards, including $1,000 from DoorDash and a discount at a local EMT training school if she would like to continue her studies. That's pretty cool. Congratulations, Sophia Furtado, for having the wherewithal to stay with that lady and to know what to do exactly. Pretty cool. All right, Gliss, it's time for my favorite segment because that's going to give me time to read these weird stories you found. It's called Did You Know? Mr. Gliss, did you know that coming to Netflix in the near future, that 90s show, which will be an update on that 70s show, and where the cast is in the future, all of the original cast will return except Danny Masterson, who played Hyde. He's battling some sexual assault allegations. Oh, that's the show.
That's true.
That should have him on that show. Did you know 75% of us would give up watching TV, shopping, and using a cell phone for a flatter stomach? Shut up. No. Eating, shopping, shut up. Did you know, according to PetSmart, 32% of dog owners buy toothpaste for their dog? Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, God. I'm so glad I don't read these at first. Did you know the Geico Gecko was created in 1999 due to a strike that prevented the use of live actors? And did you know that, oh, God, now I definitely can't remember his name, but he played Frasier's brother on Frasier, was the voice of the Gecko. No, Wesley Grammer was the original voice. Kelsey Grammer was the original voice of the Gecko. I take that back. Did you know? Because apparently I didn't know that because I messed it up. But did you know, according to a recent poll, men think eating meats makes them more manly? Not like Tim Manley, Mortis. Did you know when it comes to great deals? You know, by the way, I had a whole Tim Manley moment before we went on the air today. As I was getting myself ready, I went in a good 2 minutes of just Tim Manley. Did you know when it comes to great deals, a vacation is the number one thing we like to brag about saving money on? Not me. Did you know not touching your face is the best way to avoid getting sick? Did you know having a drink together as a couple once a week is good for your marriage? Well, so clearly it worked for me. Did you know a recent study from the Netherlands found looking at skinny models can derail your diet? Did you know college students smoke 3 times as much as non-college students of the same age? But what are they smoking?
Right.
What are they smoking? Are you for real? And finally, did you know an amazing 84,000 people in the U.S. are over the age of 100? Wow. People are living longer. Oh. What are they smoking in college? I have some guesses. The fire hydrant patent is credited to Frederick Graff Sr., who was the chief engineer for Philadelphia Waterworks during the early 1800s. Unfortunately for Graff Sr., the patent was destroyed when the patent office in Washington, D.C. burned down in 1836. That's not funny. After 100 years, retired firefighter George Sigalakis reinvented the hydrant after they had been failing to work in too many critical emergencies. Now, of all of the things that you have for the weird news, I got to go to the last one first. No, wait, hold on, because they're more weird. Screen addiction is nothing new. It's today's problem of the masses and humans, at least. Now, our fellow primate, the gorilla, of course, it's in Chicago. The gorilla has been inflicted with our issues. Amare, a 415-pound, 16-year-old gorilla here in the Lincoln Park Zoo here in Chicago, has become totally obsessed with visitors' smartphones. Amari lives with 3 other male gorillas, and the 4 of them encounter hundreds of human visitors who shove their smartphones up to the glass, showing them pictures and videos. Amari, in particular, has become hooked to the point where zookeepers have had to put up a rope to keep visitors away from the glass. Now the ropes keep visitors from sharing their screens with Amari. He has started venturing out and interacting more. I read this one earlier and I'm scared to read it. A woman who split from her abusive partner found a disturbing note among his belongings that showed a drawing of her coffin.
Yeah, that's kind of disturbing.
Man, I'm disturbed now. Again, the woman shared the creepy post-it online, which included notes of what appeared to be her dimensions to go with the sketch of a coffin. What's even more chilling is the title of the note, Vacation Plans, complete with a smiley face. The woman did not update the post on whether the woman did not update the post on whether she reported her ex and the note to law enforcement. Deputies said a mother in South Carolina, and I lived there, I totally believe that this is real. Deputies said a mother in South Carolina was arrested after repeatedly calling 911 on her son for bringing his girlfriend home when she told him not to do so. Upon arrival, deputies found the mother, who seemed to be heavily intoxicated, arguing with her son. The son said he and his girlfriend only need to stay there for the night before returning to New York in the morning, according to police. Deputies. Deputies explained to the mother that due to her son living at the home, he had the right to have guests over. Deputies said they left the scene but were called back to the same house at 12:20 a.m. and 4:12 a.m. in reference to the mother calling 911 on her son. She left the home before deputies arrived the third time but was placed into custody after returning home a little more than 1 hour after the final 911 call. And finally, because this is it. This might be the best one. Methane emissions burped up by cows have been observed from space. The emissions were detected by environmental data company GHGSat's high-resolution satellites. The company's analysis confirmed that the emissions came from a cattle feedlot in California's Joaquin Valley. The satellites recorded 5 emissions, said GHGSat. Are you wondering how powerful a cow's burp can be? If these emissions were sustained for just 1 year, enough gas would be released to power 15,402 homes, the company said. The Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, says that farm cattle contribute to 10% of greenhouse gas emissions worldwide generated by human activities. Cows eat grass and feed, right? So is the feed making them burp? Or is it the grass? Well, there's a solution for that if it's grass, because cows eat grass and then you know what happens. I got time to read it. A U.S.-based company, Orbital Assembly, has revealed new information and concepts for its space hotel idea, and it looks like a Ferris wheel in the space. No. Designs for which have been orbiting wacky since 2019. The futuristic concept consists of several modules connected by elevator shafts that make up a rotating wheel orbiting the Earth. Orbital Assembly is now aiming to launch not 1 but 2 space stations with tourist accommodation. Voyager Station, the renamed original design, is now scheduled to accommodate 400 people and to open in 2027, while new concept Pioneer Station, housing 28 people, could be operational in just 3 years. The goal, says Orbital Assembly, is to run a space business park home to offices as well as tourists. Nope, because the rendering I saw, they are legit in a Ferris wheel. I'm good. Thanks everybody for being here. Hold on, Gliss, I ain't getting rid of you yet. If you enjoyed the drive today, there are 2 ways to support the show that really help. If you're watching right now and see that subscribe button down on the left, please click it. Subscribing will let you know when I'm going to come on the air and be live. And also, as I mentioned, I've got some stuff planned that I want to share with you in the next few weeks. Another way you can really help me out, no matter how you're viewing or listening to the show, is to leave a review. Please go to backchannel.tv and click leave a review. Your positive reviews help keep the show going. Once again, please go to backchannel.tv and click leave a review. Gliss, thank you. Today was one of the best ones we've done, I think, my friend. I appreciate your contribution. And tomorrow we will have a very cool guest on who will talk us through the Roe v. Wade stuff. Emily Dordeck will be on the show. I'm sorry. Eileen Dordeck will be on the show tomorrow. Gliss, have a good night, my man. Thanks for everything.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good night.
Right on, you too. Essa, Tina, Enthusiastic Crow, Rosie Wolf, Suave Panther, Hissing Porcupine, Faisal, Ashley, everybody that's checking out the show. Thank you so much for being with us today. We really appreciate it. This is going to end the broadcast day for Backchannel.tv. Join us again at 6 a.m. Eastern Time for Haley and Allison's Good Morning. My name is Mario Smith, live from Chicago, Illinois, where April showers will be bringing all kinds of May flowers. Hope you have a great, great night, everybody. Please be safe, and we'll see you tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Time for more of The Drive with Mario Smith. Until then, peace.